She'd been tearing tickets and directing customers to their seats for 2 years, watching thousands of moviegoers enjoy their Friday night entertainment. The other staff thought Maya was just naturally calm under pressure, the way she handled difficult customers and never seemed rattled by crowded premieres. They didn't know that for 6 years she'd been a special forces operator, trained to read threats and neutralize dangers that most people would never recognize. Welcome to Whispers of Lives. Before we begin this incredible story of a cinema ticket agent whose gentle smile once coordinated the most dangerous missions behind enemy lines, tell me in the comments where you're watching from today. And if you believe that true warriors never stop protecting innocent people, hit that subscribe button and share this story to help us honor those who guard our everyday moments from the shadows. Maya Rodriguez straightened her red Galaxy Cinema vest and checked the ticket scanner for the third time that evening. The 7:30 p.m. showing of Midnight Thunder was sold out, which meant the next 2 hours would be a carefully choreographed dance of crowd control, customer service, and maintaining order among 300 excited moviegoers packed into Theater 8. She'd grown to appreciate the routine over the past 2 years. Scan tickets, direct traffic, handle complaints about seat assignments, and ensure everyone found their way safely to their entertainment. It was predictable work, the kind of civilian job she dreamed about during those long nights in Afghanistan when her biggest concern was whether her team would make it through another covert operation. "Maya, you ready for the rush?" called Josh, the concession manager, as he wheeled another cart of popcorn toward the lobby. "This is going to be crazy tonight." "Always ready," Maya replied with the same calm confidence that had earned her respect among Special Forces operators who trusted her with their lives. Now she used those same skills to manage movie crowds, and the transition had been surprisingly smooth. The first wave of customers began arriving at 7 p.m., families with children clutching oversized sodas, teenagers in groups of 6 or 8, couples on date nights. Maya scanned each ticket with practiced efficiency, while her trained eyes automatically cataloged every person who passed through her station. That's when she noticed them. 3 men, arriving separately, but moving with the kind of coordinated precision that civilian crowds never displayed. The first came through Maya's line at 7:05, average height, dark jacket, polite but avoided eye contact. The second followed at 7:07, different clothing but identical posture and awareness. The third arrived at 7:10, completing what Maya recognized as a classic surveillance triangle. Most cinema workers would see 3 unrelated customers buying tickets to the same popular movie. Maya saw an operational team conducting reconnaissance. Her pulse quickened slightly, but her training kept her movements natural and relaxed. She continued scanning tickets and directing customers while mentally tracking the 3 men's positions. They'd spread out across the lobby, each maintaining visual contact with different sections of the theater entrance, while appearing to browse concession stands and check their phones. "Enjoy your movie," Maya said pleasantly to a young couple, then activated her earpiece to contact security. "Jake, this is Maya. Can you do a casual walk through the lobby? I need eyes on 3 individuals." Jake Morrison, the head of theater security, responded immediately. He was former military police, one of the few staff members who knew about Maya's background, though not the full extent of her Special Forces training. "Copy that. What am I looking for?" 3 males, coordinated positioning, possible surveillance activity. "I'll describe them when you're in position." Maya continued her regular duties while tracking the suspects' movements. They were good maintaining cover, avoiding obvious communication, blending into the crowd with the skill of trained operators. But they weren't good enough to fool someone who'd spent 6 years conducting similar operations in hostile territory. At 7:20, the 3 men made their move toward Theater 8. Maya scanned their tickets with the same friendly efficiency she showed every customer, but her trained memory was recording every detail: faces, builds, visible scars, jewelry, anything that could be used for identification later. "Thanks, have a great show," she told the third man, noting the slight bulge under his left jacket that suggested a concealed weapon. As soon as they were inside the theater, Maya activated her earpiece again. "Jake, we have a problem. Those 3 individuals are armed and coordinating. This isn't random." "Maya, are you certain? Maybe they're off-duty security or—" "Jake, I'm certain. This is a coordinated team with weapons conducting surveillance on a crowded theater. We need to evacuate immediately." Jake's military training kicked, and when he heard the absolute certainty in Maya's voice, "What's the protocol?" "Fire alarm will cause panic. We need to do this quietly and quickly." "How many people are in Theater 8? "Full capacity. 300 customers." "There. I'll explain later. Right now we need to secure these weapons and get statements from witnesses." Police flooded into the theater within minutes, finding Maya calmly sitting beside 3 unconscious suspects while customers continued their orderly evacuation. She'd zip-tied their hands using emergency restraints from the theater's first aid kit and organized their weapons into a neat evidence pile. "Ma'am, I'm Detective Williams. Are you the employee who called us in?" "I'm Maya Rodriguez, head of customer service. These 3 individuals were conducting coordinated surveillance with intent to commit violence against theater customers." Detective Williams stared at the scene. 3 incapacitated suspects, multiple weapons secured, and an evacuation conducted with military precision. "Ma'am, with respect, how exactly did you manage to subdue 3 armed individuals?" Maya looked at the detective, then at Jake, then at the crowd of customers and police officers who were all staring at her with expressions ranging from confusion to awe. Detective Williams stared at the scene. 3 incapacitated suspects, multiple weapons secured, and an evacuation conducted with military precision. "Ma'am, with respect, how exactly did you manage to subdue 3 armed individuals?" Maya looked at the detective, then at Jake, then at the crowd of customers and police officers who were all staring at her with expressions ranging from confusion to awe. "Detective Williams, I think there's some things about my background we should discuss privately." An hour later, Maya sat in the theater's office, explaining her military service to a room full of law enforcement officials who were having difficulty reconciling the woman in a cinema uniform with someone capable of neutralizing a terrorist cell. "Special Forces?" Detective Williams asked for the 3rd time. "You were actually Special Forces?" 75th Ranger Regiment, followed by Delta Force selection and 6 years of counter-terrorism operations. I retired 2 years ago and took this job because I wanted to protect people in a different way." "Ma'am, these suspects were carrying enough firepower to kill dozens of people. The attack would have been a massacre." Maya nodded quietly. She'd seen the weapons, studied the positioning, understood exactly what 300 trapped civilians would have faced if the attack had proceeded as planned. "Detective, that's why we do this job. Some of us in uniform, some of us behind ticket counters. But we do it because innocent people deserve to go see a movie without worrying about whether they'll make it home." The investigation would continue for weeks, revealing connections to international terrorist networks and plans for coordinated attacks on multiple soft targets. Maya's intervention had prevented not just one massacre, but had disrupted an entire operation that would have killed hundreds of people across the region. The media attention was intense but brief. Maya declined all interview requests, returned to work after a week of administrative leave, and resumed her position scanning tickets and directing customers to their seats. But something had changed. Word spread quietly through the cinema industry, then through veteran networks, then through law enforcement communities. The woman tearing tickets at Galaxy Cinema wasn't just another retail worker trying to make ends meet. She was Maya Rodriguez, former Delta Force operator, and she was exactly where she needed to be. Because sometimes the most important missions happen in movie theaters, conducted by ticket agents who remember how to read threats and neutralize dangers. Sometimes protecting people means trading combat uniforms for cinema vests and watching for enemies among customers who just want to enjoy their Friday night entertainment. Maya went back to work the next week, taking her position at the ticket scanner with the same friendly smile she'd worn for 2 years. But now the other employees looked at her differently, the kind of respectful awareness reserved for people whose true capabilities had been suddenly revealed. She didn't mind. She had work to do, crowds to protect, and people to keep safe. And if another threat made the mistake of choosing her theater for their operation, they'd learn what every terrorist eventually discovered. You can plan for security cameras and metal detectors, but you can never plan for a warrior who's decided to protect innocent people. After all, some training never fades, and some missions never really end.